and talk once again to the defence analyst Alex Alfirraz Scheers. Alex, welcome back. Where does this extended ceasefire leave things? Are we seeing real diplomatic progress, or is this simply some kind of holding pattern?
I think what we're seeing here is the Trump administration kicking the can down the road. I think the Trump administration still hasn't figured out what it is exactly it can accomplish, never mind what it is its strategic objectives are. So this is a holding pattern, almost a bid to buy time, so to speak, to see how the next few days actually pan out. Remember that the United States is deploying military assets to the region, which is probably why the U.S. hasn't set a deadline for this particular ceasefire, now the seventh ceasefire extension to date. So I think we'll see more clarity come in a week's time. And unless something happens within that time in terms of a negotiated settlement, then this conflict certainly could escalate once again.
Do you think there is a clear U.S. exit strategy in sight yet?
No, I do not believe so, and I do not think that the Trump administration also thinks that there is a clear exit strategy. It's flailing. It's looking for a strategy. In fact, this war has been in search of a strategy. So all the operational stuff has actually yielded very little. In fact, it's done the very opposite of what the Trump administration set out to do, which is to weaken this regime. And I might have been able to do that in terms of striking targets and degrading some of its capabilities. But the regime is now much stronger than it was on February 27th because obviously, it can hold the global economy hostage, and it has control over a very critical maritime choke point in the Strait of Hormuz.
With the U.S. maintaining this naval blockade and tensions obviously still running high in the Strait of Hormuz, as we've been reporting, can a ceasefire really hold for much longer?
I think we're looking at an incredibly precarious ceasefire here. And one of the reasons why that is because the conditions of the 10-point plan that the Iranians put out and the conditions that the Americans set out in their 15-point plan are in direct tension with one another. So this is a ceasefire that is on tenterhooks. Anything could happen to undermine it. Things are already taking place now in the Strait with attacks on tankers on both sides. So it doesn't look to me that this is a particularly reliable ceasefire.
We spoke some time ago when this started. All these weeks on, what's really been achieved? From the political standpoint, as far as the United States is concerned, very little. In fact, I think what's happened here is a complete backfiring of why the United States launched this campaign with Israel in the first place. Now, they can say that they've targeted some of Iran's nuclear facilities, so they've degraded Iran's ability to weaponize its 60% highly enriched uranium to the 90% threshold. Falling short of that, and even that's a very sort of amorphous, murky form of achievement, I would say that nothing has really been achieved from the U.S. standpoint. From the Iranian standpoint, this is one of the unintended consequences of this war. They've gained significant bargaining leverage. They now have more leverage at these talks. They can even decide to pull out of these talks. That's not the behavior of a power that feels as though it's on the down. It's a behavior of a power that feels that it's actually got a little bit more influence than it had prior. People all around the world are obviously picking up the cost of this conflict, and removed from the tragedy of the region, might well be asking, how much longer is this going to go on for? How much longer can it go on for? From the U.S. perspective, first of all.
So, I mean, the U.S. has to balance out its military objectives with what is politically salient for the Trump administration. So I think it's clear that the Trump administration desperately wants to find a way out because it's cognizant of the fact that this is actually hurting the United States. It's hurting the United States economically, it's hurting the United States politically, but also in terms of the reliability that the United States has, the stature that the United States has on the global stage is being severely undermined by its actions. From the Iranian standpoint, that's a really good question because it's shown that it can absorb a lot of pain, it can take a lot of these hits, and I don't think that for Iran, going to the negotiating table with a U.S. that's acting in bad faith is expedient for Iran. So it could go on for quite a while longer. The question is, how much is everybody still willing to suffer in terms of the economic damage?
Alex, thank you. Alex Alfirraz Scheers, the defense analyst.